Hey, I'm Jim, the GM, and tonight we have a special situation. I've got with me Mike, Matt, Caleb, and Andy. It's our last game was a little rough. We had two of our three members die. Den and Flu got killed in a trap, and Quinn continued to force his way through the rest of the tower, and we don't really know what's happened to him. But because of that, that's kind of put us in a situation where we're going to have some new characters, and it's going to put us right back in the city of Vedekar. Being in the city of Vedekar, we'll go ahead and start off and let you know who our new members are. All of our new members, our new players, rather, or new characters, will be playing members of the one thieves group that we haven't yet to meet, the Hand. Remember, we have met Vedekar's denizens, who are middle class and lower class citizens of Vedekar. And we've also met a strange group of people, creatures called the Darklings. So, starting off to introduce our characters and ourselves, Mike, kick it off for us.
All right. Hey, I'm Mike. Having a little technical difficulties today, but joining how I can to introduce you to Molinari. Molinari is is it Kalishtar?
Kalishtar.
Kalishtar. He has an angular face, dark hair. And he's always got kind of a brooding look about him. Molinari is someone who grew up in Vedekar, but not everybody really knows that about him. He grew up on the streets, kind of an orphan to the streets, and made his way how he could. And during his time on the streets, he slipped into the discovery of some portals that kind of changed his life in a big way. So he's developed some maps of the city that involve shortcuts that let him kind of bounce around in unorthodox ways, and it's helped him make some money, and he's able to work his way into life with the nobles eventually, but none of them know where he comes from. Which conveniently, as a Kalishtar, he's already kind of a mysterious character, and so people don't suspect too much about where it would come from. Molinari is a ranger. He's kind of a mystical spin on a ranger a little bit. He'll be learning some more about portals and rifts and the multiverse and all kinds of fun things. But yeah, that's pretty much all about Molinari for now. I guess one more thing. I think these portals that he's been using to jump around the city as he's growing up is actually how he was inspired to be a ranger. He once jumped through a portal expecting to come out somewhere familiar, and was definitely not in a familiar area. And this is when he was really young. He was inspired by a warrior he saw who shot a magic bow, and it just inspired him to pick up the bow. And when he made his way home, he practiced until he was a very, very good archer, which he's put to his own uses. That is Molinari for now.
Can you give a little description physically of him? What does he look like?
Like I said, he's got angular features. He's real dark hair. He's a little taller than the average human. You never see him not wearing his armor, pretty much, which is pretty light armor. It's a studded leather, but he definitely always looks like he's prepared for action. Though sometimes he dresses it up to kind of, put on a show for the nobles, and he's kind of learned to do his hair just right, and he has a cheesy smile that he flashes at the ladies to convince everybody that he should fit in. But he's pretty unassuming. Besides that, there's a lot more hidden inside, which people that know him will find out or already know that he prefers to speak telepathically, and often when he does come to speak vocally, his voice is a little unpracticed. He sounds a little gruff sometimes because he can go days or weeks without actually speaking out loud.
So, real quick for you then, there is a new initiate to the hand. It is a merchant's son who has gained a lot of the merchant has gained a lot of notoriety, dealing specifically in engravings, which have become very, very popular in the elitist classes. And the hand has noticed that the son has what it takes to become an initiate. And this little goblin female, her name is Quija, and she has been either brought to you or tasked to work with you on something. What would you do to kind of show Quija the ropes, or what the hand has to offer?
I think Molinari has at this point, probably has a reputation of being able to find just the right back alley to duck into, or knows the fastest way across the town at any time of day. And so he's been tasked with basically showing this little goblin some escape routes from the places where she might be tasked with cut pursing or whatever she ends up doing for her initial jobs. He's kind of just going to take her around and show her some shortcuts around the city and make sure that she's not going to get caught if she can manage to slip whoever might see her in the heat of the moment.
Nice, nice. All right, now we're going to go to Matt.
Hello. Yes, I am Matt, and I am playing Gyersog de Kundarak, a house agent for House Kundarak, who believes that all of the houses, especially his own, need a change, need reformation. He's critical of the leadership and of leadership of cities, even monarchies, rulers, in that he hates the restrictions that they place, the rulership place on the houses, especially his own. He thinks that we should have a lot more ability to affect the world than we do. And he believes that we need to evolve to survive. He appreciates that we have a history and traditions, and he doesn't think necessarily that we should forget all of that. But he believes that that we shouldn't just look to the past. In fact, we should look to the now, and we should look to the future for our direction and for what we do with our lives. Gyersog is a little bit obsessed with conspiracy theories and secret societies. He believes that there must be someone controlling the government to have them have these laws and rules that they do. And his role as a house agent is to find the newest and best technologies that are around or make technologies that are the newest and best and bring them to House Kundarak for identification and for like backwards engineering, I suppose. And so, you know, he's research and development. He always has an eye on the valuable technology that is in every room that he goes into. When he goes into a room, he looks around, and his, I guess, skill set is spotting that thing that looks like a magical tool or something that he hasn't seen before. And so he's always got his eye on that. Being from House Kundarak, he knows his way around a lock, and he certainly knows his way around a lock better than most people in House Kundarak. And I think his role, as far as this new initiate, would be kind of like a Q role, where he's showing this new initiate all of the latest tech that House Kundarak has to offer, or rather the hand has to offer. Obviously, the hand has obtained items or created items to do things the way that they do. And so I think that my role would be to show this new initiate how that all works. And I would be known as Big G instead of Q. And that's funny because Giefzog is not a big dwarf. In fact, he's quite slight for a dwarf, and his beard, although long, is also fairly thin. He keeps it extremely well manicured, and he keeps it braided. And it goes down from his chin in a single braid, but he also has two strands that come up to make sideburns, but on an upward slant, and then around his head to make like a concha and tied at the back. That's how his beard goes. He doesn't really, he's a bit of a bald man like myself. So that's kind of what he looks like. But he sort of makes up for it with the fact that he can tinker on the spot. He takes around this, because he's from House Kundarak. House Kundarak has a symbol of the manticore that is their coat of arms. And so he has this little mini manticore that he has created out of scrap, wood, metal, moving bits, springs, all sorts of things. And he takes that around with him to do some of his work for him. So yeah, I think that's probably enough from me at this point. That is Giefzog.
Can we see your dragon mark?
Good question. I think so. I have scale armor on.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm thinking is that in order to access the dragon mark, I think it would need to be like at the top of his shoulder, right where it sort of connects with his neck. So you probably see a little flourish of it, you know, just coming up his neck. But it might look like a tattoo. In fact, Giefzog has quite a number of tattoos. So if he was ever to take off his armor, that's something that that would be noticed. And his dragon mark would probably blend into that as long as it's not activated. Obviously, when it's activated, it glows. But while it's not activated, I think it probably, unless you're looking with a distinguished eye and know what you're looking at, you probably just see it as another tattoo.
All right. All right. Thank you. Caleb.
Yeah, so I am playing Brother Lastings. He is a cleric. Uh, he loves getting free room and board at the church. It's one of his favorite parts about being a cleric. He has hair that's pretty much always slicked back, kind of creating a widow's peak on his forehead. It comes down about shoulder length. Piercing between or to either side of his hair. You've got some pointy-ish ears, but tufts of hair kind of riddle along the side of it. He's a hobgoblin, but he is a some might say a troubled history, and perhaps that's why he got transferred here. But he has been he was sort of hand selected by members, maybe not the important ones, but members of the hand recommended him. And so once his probation period was over, he got moved over to Vedekar, which is where he's been. He served there for a while doing some other of his favorite things. He leads a hot yoga type class for the rich noble or perhaps shop owner or whatever. He sort of is all about the spiritual internal health along with the physical health that people can see. He's all about making sure that they take that next step and really push themselves to find that inner glory. But yeah, he's yeah, and there you go. I guess I should say he has a he wears this splint mail which splints sort of across his chest, but the shoulders are like this very large, ornate, well crafted. I'll make his his shoulders look much taller than they are. If you've ever played World of Warcraft, he's got a chest piece and shoulder pads that mimic sort of that unrealistic sizing and things like that. But yeah, it's doctored on the front with a seal from the sovereign host. But it's mostly ceremonial armor. He doesn't actually wear it all that often. But yeah.
All right. And to clarify, what was your race again?
He is a hobgoblin.
All right. And what? How would Quija be introduced to you?
If it is work from the hand, I think somebody probably, after going out and perhaps doing one of these early simple missions of, hey, take that person's coin sack, and then they get it, and then that person brings them to the church to introduce them to the fence. That is a big part, and again, one of the things that Brother Lastings really enjoys. People bring him the items or coinage that may have been gathered and not need to be traced. He'll take those items and he will convert them into something else. That way they can turn around and, maybe they, heaven forbid, somebody took a bunch of money and brought it to him. He might put his hands over the top of it, and after a little while, appointments are required, but after a little while, he would come back out with sort of a solid block of gold or silver or something and say, here you go, the job is done. Or people might bring an item of some kind to sort of do the same type of exchange there. But yeah, that is also because he has these classes and things like that, he is somebody who is fairly well connected, mostly, of course, through the church. But yeah, so they probably would bring him in, and he would be in the middle of one of his conversions. But yeah, something that's he thinks is very funny is when he first meets this guy. The he would walk up and he would kind of hold his hands together in front of him and ask the kid, "Do you think that you represent the hand of the sovereign host?" And every time he says it, he is like, "Oh, am I going to spill the beans?" No, of the sovereign host. He likes playing that little trick. Someday it might bite him in the ass, but he's kind of a little willy-nilly when it comes to that stuff.
All right. And Andy.
All right, so you guys are ready to never die on a campaign again. I'm playing Jarok Ari. He is a half-orc barbarian. He originates from the Demon Waste area. He's from a clan of orcs/half-orcs called the Gashkala. They're basically protectors of the Demon Waste. I don't really have a way to describe them other than they're like cultists, except for they prevent cultists from happening. Pretty much anybody that travels into the Demon Waste, they want to prevent that. Anyone that comes out, they see them as like soiled or like nasty people. They're tainted. And so my guy's story basically comes from him being there. He was part of the clan. They carry a specific kind of brand called the Binding Flame. And his is pretty much on his face, so he has a giant, kind of like, have you ever seen Avatar The Last Airbender, like Zuko? He's got a giant, basically like brandish flame on his half side of his face. He's a pretty big guy. He's about 6'8", 250, 260. What happened, though, was he actually tried to stop a group of travelers from going into the Demon Waste and ended up following them a little too far and got lost. Once in there, when he emerged back out towards the gates of it, his clan basically banished him. And that's where he got the other brand that is on his back, where it literally is a carving that says Ari, which just translates to exile. And since then, he's basically just traveled throughout Eberron. He's more of a nature guy, survivalist. Not the brightest, but he has survival instincts like no other, and he's very strong. Somewhere along the way, when he got towards Ondar or something like that, I guess the hand had somebody there that scouted him out and liked his particular skill of killing things and decided to recruit him. And that's how I got to Vedikar.
So then tell me about how Quija, since you're a particular brand of killing things, Quija has been especially assigned to watch you having to be sent to do a very, let's see, send a message. There is someone who's been not exiled as you have been, but they have decided to retire from the hand, age out. They have become someone who has quite a bit of power in Vedikar. And they have, word has come out that they have been trying to reveal the hand, to try to show that what they're doing is not something he agrees with anymore, and he would like to see what they do changed and to see Vedikar become more straight and narrow. Quija has been sent on a mission with you, just as an observer, to watch you send a message upon, let's say he has a lifelong butler. In fact, this butler is an elf. So not only was it this man's butler, but also the butler to his father and his father before him. So this man is this butler is an established member of Vedekar, and you have been sent to send a message with strict rules not to get caught. How do you do that? How does Kweejaw see you do this?
Not get caught.
You've been given enough information. You know how things work in the house. You know how to get in there. You know how to draw him out if you need to. You know that he is always the one who answers the door, no matter what time of day it is. Like, you have enough information where you don't necessarily have to be stealthy, and you can find the exact right time.
Okay. Pretty much would wait until nighttime when there's not that many people on the streets, approach the door, knock on the door, and once he answers it, I would immediately grab his face and go into the house. So, like, grab him by the mouth. I would then pin him onto the ground and just start to crush his jaw and face together until it basically just broke. And once that was done, it would pretty much leave the hand mark on his face, and I think that would send enough of a message.
Kweejaw watches that, and you can see as you get up off of his body, turn around to walk out the door, this little goblin is looking at you, up at you, going, I can't believe you just did that and didn't flinch, and watches you walk by. She starts to go down the steps and follow you, turns around, grabs the door, shuts it for you, and then follows you back out. Very nice. Very, very nice. All right, so that puts us into a situation. All of you are familiar with each other. In fact, you have worked together in some way, off and on. You are not necessarily enemies. You could be rivals if you choose to play that way, but you are definitely all on the same side and are at least showing that you have, for lack of better terms, the back of the hand. So you have all been called into the office of the speaker, Temperance Stonemill. Temperance, is a no-nonsense dwarven woman who is second in command to the entire organization. You do know that the organization is run by a woman, very mysterious, named Espherica. But no one even makes a claim to have seen her. You all obediently show up to the room. The room with Temperance is a simple room that has one door in and one door out. And her room is actually in the back of a brothel. Temperance's front is dealing with pleasures of the flesh. And this side room is just a desk with a chair for her on the far side of the wall. And the room is lined with couches and lounges and chairs and sofas. It is a very lavish room. It is something that it is almost a joy to be called in by Temperance for a specific job from Espherica, because when you come in, servants will bring you a drink. Servants will bring you a snack should you choose. And the place always smells very nice. So at this point, it is 10 o'clock at night. The lights are already all lit outside along the streets. The town, except for these kinds of establishments, have started to wind down, and many of its inhabitants have gone to sleep. On the inside, the first one into the room will be Let's see. Will be. I almost said Den. That would be funny, but Den is not here because not just is Den dead, but the person who played Den is gone. We're gonna go with Jarek. Jarek, you're the first one in. How do you sit? How do you enter? How do you greet Temperance?
So you said all the like seats and stuff are on the sides. There's not any in the middle.
No.
Okay, so I'm just going to walk right into the middle of the room and just get on one knee and bow and say nothing.
As you come back up, you see that sideways smile on her face. You know that from previous interactions with her, she does not expect that. She does not require that, but she does appreciate the gesture. Coming in right behind you is Brother Lastings.
And you actually hear him coming first. Like, everybody just needs to cover themselves up, and the first thing through the doorway is actually Brother Lasting's hand, and he's holding basically the words of the sovereign host. And he's just sitting there, and you see him walk through, and he kind of holds it behind him, and he points it at the door, and he turns around, and he's got this look on his face like, ugh. And then he puts the Bible away, and he says, "Oh my goodness! Every time this place is excellent. You have really outdone yourself." And he goes and he sort of runs, and he sort of jumps and lands down with his sitting with his feet propped up on the couch, and he sort of lays back, and you can see him now reclining sort of sideways on the couch. And he starts sort of like wiping stuff off of the armor, and he just sits there and sort of looks.
Nice. And Gifsog.
Yeah, so Gievzok is dressed really quite formally because he was summoned here. And he does have his scale mail underneath, but, sort of an over, almost like Morrowind style of the flowing sort of robe that's really nice. It's got sort of like brass toggles, and he comes in and he inclines his head. He would sort of just recognize the others that are in the room, nod to them each before taking a seat. I also think that he wouldn't say very much at this point. Keen to learn what she has to say, and maybe I've been here a few times to get jobs, but I always have my eye out to see if there's anything new in the room. So
absolutely. Then we'll say that on your way in, there is a well-armored man. You immediately just go, adventurer, sarcastically to yourself. And that man has on a silver necklace with a purple stone in the middle.
Cool.
And you, as Matt, absolutely recognize this necklace.
Of course.
But you may have even seen, since your eye is out for these, you've seen a lot of people who, in that same moment, you go, adventurer. Huh. And you see that necklace, and you notice you've seen very similar chains with different color stones. You've seen them around town. Specifically blue ones, and you even heard of a couple of people in town who had red ones. But the red ones, you have no idea where they'd come from.
No, I'll take note of that. Say nothing, and and sit down and look expectantly up at this dwarven woman, who I think probably has mixed feelings towards this particular dwarf.
Actually, the way that Temperance looks at you, she's on the other side of the desk with her feet out in front of her crossed and her sitting on the edge with her hands up behind her. And if anything, you know that she actually is, for someone who is in House Kundarak or Kundarak, your house is a business, and what the hand does is a business. And for what you have to offer, you being a part of the hand is a business deal.
Okay, sounds good.
And she looks at the three of you, and she says, "Where's Molinari? I sent for him too. Have you seen Molinari?"
Haven't heard from him all day.
Hmm. Normally he's the first here. He'll show up. I'll send somebody to find him. Never mind.
He'll probably walk through a wall at some point.
I have heard of him doing these things, but I have yet to see it. However, his results, I cannot argue with them. And she leans forward, crosses her arms. Gentlemen, I have a job for you. Aspiricus speaks of this one directly. This is not a job you're going to enjoy. It's one of our dirtier jobs. And the way that she says dirtier jobs heavily implies actual dirt. This is not her talking about low-class people. This is something that is definitely not along the lines. Dirtier. So, and she leans back on the table. I'm sure that you've heard of Knock Knock having had his glaive stolen. I mean, it's no news to anyone. Word on the street is that the Darklings, those newcomers, are the ones who took it from him. The Spirica needs you to go into the sewers and get Knock Knock's glaive. By whatever means necessary. Now, as always, you will be paid 100 gold each for the job, and the rewards get higher the more you are able to accomplish for us. Bring us the glaive, you each receive 100 gold. Pin it on, I don't know, pin it on the denizens. Make the Darklings believe that whoever took the glaive was the denizens. There's a 50 gold bonus for each of you. Pin it on us. You will be paid, but only half.
I immediately, raise my head a bit from the bowing stance and just stand up straight, give like a single nod, and turn and just start walking out the door.
She watches you walk off with confusion, then looks at the remaining two of you. Do you have any questions? Can I help you with anything?
Yeah, I think Brother Lasting swings his leg off to where he's sitting on the couch normally, and just asks, uh, do we know where this thing was last seen? I mean, you got any leads for us? Just the sewers?
We know the sewers. We know that if you find and follow a patrol, you'll be able to get there. The Darklings are quite new to Vedekar. We haven't been able to pin down their workings nor their lair yet, but they must have a leader. And if they took Knock Knock's glaive, their leader has to have it. And if you can find their leader, you may also find their lair, which would be a great boon for us. They are not affecting us directly, but indirectly, they are getting in the way. Many of our own families have had things stolen from their house. Mostly gems. One had a sculpture and two others spoke of paintings. Many of them heirlooms.
Yeah, he puts his hands on his thighs and stands up and sort of stretches. Well, I guess there's no doing but doing here. So, and he looks to Big G, and he sort of nods at the door.
Cool. Obviously we would know that this had happened. It's considered just general knowledge. Would we already know anything about this glaive, or otherwise I'll ask questions about the glaive itself. Namely things like, is it pretty?
You know that this glaive is very important, for as long as the denizens have been the antithesis to the hand, it is within at least the hand, and at your level, for player purposes, being level 4s, you guys are very trusted within this organization. Not only are you known throughout the city for your day jobs, but in the hand, you are prominent members as well. And it is common knowledge to the people of at least your level that Knock Knock is an Oni. And that glaive is a source of his power.
All right. Yeah, I think, where Gearsog's or Big G's mind is at is, and he would probably say so, these items that have been stolen from our own families are mostly shiny things, sculptures, paintings, pretty things. And he would sort of go, well, obviously this glaive is meaningful and what's not, but is it pretty? Like, does it tick the box of something that fits the same description as gems and sculptures and paintings and heirlooms and all of these pretty things?
It doesn't.
Okay.
For all that we know, it is just Knock Knock's glaive. However, being a source of his power, it may have something special about it.
Yeah, some magical properties.
With our dealings with the Darklings thus far, they have seemed to prefer daggers. I've never once seen one of them even try to go for a kill with a dagger in two hands.
And Onis are pretty big, and the Darklings are pretty small as far as what we've seen around the streets. So carrying one of these glaives probably took a little bit of an effort.
Probably. We do know, for an Oni, we have heard tales of other Onis being able to shape shift, but again, nothing so much that we've seen with Knock Knock.
Okay. Very good. There's no rumors as to, obviously we would we know what an Oni normally does as far as powers go, know what to expect maybe from this glaive, sort of intelligently extracting, well, an Oni normally does X and Y, maybe the glaive does X and Y.
Sure, make an intelligence roll if you're still in the room. You can make an intelligence roll or a wisdom roll. I'm good with either. Maybe somebody spoke to you about it, or maybe you've done some research on it.
Yeah. All right. Just flat intelligence.
Just
I didn't roll very well. I got a 13 because I rolled a 9.
Okay. Basically, you know that any situation that they've had with Knock Knock has been at night, but it's been fleeting glances. It's been a fight with the denizens, and once the fight was over, or in the middle of the fight, someone notices off around the corner this creature, this tall, cloaked figure with glowing eyes in the shadows, just look. You see you, lock eyes with you, and then turn and leave.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Would we frequent the town? Would we have heard of the attacks around town from these marked individuals that sort of disappeared and their cloaks and daggers disappeared when they attacked people? Would we have heard of those attacks?
Specifically with the denizens?
The Emerald Claw. The Emerald mark.
Oh,
that our other characters were experiencing.
That organization, the Emerald Claw, you're familiar with the Emerald Claw. They typically, especially if you're from Vedekar for a while, and Karnath for a while, you are familiar with the Emerald Claw. You know that they have been shut down, for lack of better terms, or supposed to have been. Any sighting of them it's not rare, but it's always an odd occurrence. It's not supposed to be happening anymore.
Okay. So I wouldn't sort of think, potentially it may not be the Darklings. There might be someone else involved. I wouldn't sort of think along that lines, knowing what I know at this stage.
Right.
Okay. Thank you. I just wanted to see if maybe there was something else that I thought could have been going on. But okay, that sounds fine. I think I've asked enough. Does she have a sort of deadline when she wants it? Obviously, she wants it, and the quicker the better. But is there some sort of...
The sooner the better.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right. And I'm having to get used to your new names. Brother Lastings, you're stepping out now too? Or you've already stepped out?
I think he walks over to the door and he pulls the Bible back out and he turns around and looks at everybody and smiles and then runs his hand over his face, and he's got this scowl on his scowl on his face, and he holds the Bible up and turns to the door and says, "I can't believe," and he walks through the door and is real preachy at everybody again, covering the fact that a brother is walking through this brothel.
And then were we carrying all of our equipment in there, or did we like leave it somewhere?
That's up to you. You live in town.
Okay.
It's easy for you guys to all to go. Cool. Everybody, let's meet up in an hour. Ready to go.
Well, I'm outside, and I carry basically this is a good opportunity, I guess, for this, a gigantic sack of just javelins. And so I just have a like hemp sack with a rope tied to it of just like 4 javelins, and then a single sword on my head.
I would spend the hour marking up. Well, I would actually remake, I think, my my companion here. I think, and I would do so out of refuse and junk. Like I would go to like the dirtiest place, even if that means, you know, to the entrance of the sewers, and I would like siphon through it. I would go in like my worst clothes. I certainly would not be dressed well. I would like put mud on my beard. I would, I would get down and dirty because I want to be seen as someone that does not have money, and I'm going to do everything that it takes to do that. Koff, my companion, I want to mark him up so he's real like rusty. I want to get like rusted bits of crap and stick him out of him in all these different directions. And I don't even think he would really look like a manticore anymore. I would just shape him like a giant rat.
Nice.
Knowing where we're going and knowing that we want to pin this on a less than rich organization, I want to look the part.
Okay. And Brother Lastings? Are you doing anything for that hour?
He would go back to the church and change into his. He would take his proper vestments off and sort of don like more commoner clothes. And you could see as he's even putting it on, he's sort of like huffing and puffing to himself, complaining about the fabric and things like that. But once he gets everything on, he'd sort of slide his shoulder piece of his armor and tie the rest of it around. Make sure to grab his mace and his shield, and off he would go. Obviously, he'd grab his normal, and he would put quotes around this adventuring gear.
Okay.
Just for some common knowledge, I remember that the denizens lived out of like I was sort of underneath. Was it like a bridge to the lightning rail or something like that? Was that right?
Yes.
So I think I would have this in mind so that at some point while we were down in the sewers that I could yell out, "Well, we have to get back to the bridge to try again, pin this," and be like, "Oh, whoops, I gave away my location," when we get there. And probably I would say as much, you know, trying to get as much lean in to that as we can. I'll probably let the other guys know that that's what I'm thinking. Unless their lair has a name that they call it, if maybe I would know that, or maybe I could make a roll to know that. I would generally otherwise call it the bridge, I suppose, unless you allow me to make a roll.
Okay, sure. Go ahead and make another intelligence roll.
While he's doing that, what is the relationship to the hand with the denizens?
They are 2 gangs within town that typically do not cross paths. they have very distinct boundaries in what they do, mostly because the hand is for the elites, it is for the aristocrats, it's for the upper class, and the denizens are Vedakar's denizens, that's its full name, are for middle and lower class. You can see how there's obviously animosity from Vedakar's denizens to the hand, and the hand looks at the denizens with just disdain, and it has been brewing for a while that there could be a gang war coming.
What time of day is it?
At this point, it's 11 o'clock, 11:30 at night.
At night?
Yep.
Is there any known locations for denizens that hang out? Like maybe watch spots or like actual group hangouts?
Sure. Let's say you've got one that you know where, there's a couple that you've been keeping tabs on, and you know where they normally like to drink.
I'd like to go there for my hour if that's possible.
Okay. What do you do in that hour?
So I basically wanted to stake them out and see if one of them happens to be alone at any point.
If one of them happens to be alone at any point?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go ahead and let's see. High or low?
What'd you say?
High or low?
Go low.
All right. And it seems like that handful that you're watching, they are giving off the air of being off duty, not necessarily drinking and watching or waiting for a drop or something. They are there having a good time, similar to you. They don't have to do denizen work, and their day job is finished.
And then they're just in this bar.
Yes. Do this for me. Make a deception roll or a stealth roll, either way.
Stealth would be 16.
All right. You are able to do a good job of not drawing attention to yourself. It being about 11 to 11:30 at night, the bar is not packed, but it's also not empty. So it being half full, it's more likely that you could have been picked up. But during that time, they do not catch on to you.
Are they just humans or
Yes, they are humans.
both male?
Oh, yeah.
Average sized?
Yep.
Perfect. I just want to wait for the rest of the time period that we have and see if they ever separate or one goes alone or the one goes outside.
They don't.
Damn it.
And so you will all meet up at one of the sewer entrance locations. It is specifically the location that you choose to use is a grate that is in the basement of a house just past the upper class district, just outside of it. So you know that it's barely into the denizens' turf, but you have been using this safely for a while now.
And is it like a manhole or is it an entranceway to a sewer?
So it's let's not use basement. Let's call it a cellar. There's a person who is in the middle class. They're not necessarily a denizen or a member of any of the gangs. However, there is a very serious threat that your group has kept upon the owner and their family that allows you to continue to use this exterior entrance into their cellar to access the sewer entrance that is in there.
Well, in that case, I'm just going to look at the other two and start walking towards the entrance. Is the guy outside currently, or is he in the home? Or...
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to walk on through.
Yep. Walking in as if I own the place.
Yeah. Lastings?
Yeah, following.
All right. So you guys are able to go inside and take this secret entrance into the sewers. And you really have no initial idea of where to go. Go ahead and make survival checks, or you can make perception rolls at disadvantage.
Sit survival.
Mm-hmm. You can make a survival roll or a perception roll at disadvantage. Down here in the sewers, the sewer has a 5-foot walkway with a sewage line in the middle that's about 10 feet wide and knee deep. And on the other side is another 5-foot wide walkway. It is very Ninja Turtles-esque.
I rolled a 15.
Cool. So then what we'll get is that Brother Lastings, starting off, you are the one who notices the signs of rats in the sewers to be expected. However, it looks like you are already, even just coming off right through the secret entrance, it is a very, very condensed area of rat droppings and nibbled on pieces of materials and ropes and food. And there's even a rat carcass that you catch bobbing just below the surface in the sewer water.
Yeah, this is gross down here. Is it what's the lighting like?
None.
Yeah, I think he would snap a finger, and as soon as he does, here's a question. Big G. When he snaps his finger, I think what would be interesting is if something on you lit up.
Something on me?
Yeah. Like, is there something? Let's say that at some point I have given in the past. I had done a mission with you before because we're sort of similar from two different approaches. Your science to my religion,
Right.
and but we both believe in magic. But I've given you a little necklace that has a mirror on it, and when I snap my finger, that mirror just lights up with the light spell.
All right.
But yeah, he says, "This is gross." Snaps his fingers.
Upon snapping your fingers, you hear some scuttling behind some worn out crates about 15 feet behind.
Yeah, so I think I'd probably turn around to see what it is.
You cannot see what it is. You just hear the crates. So again, as I said, you got 5 foot, 5 foot of from the wall to the sludge. You got 10 foot of sludge. It's about knee deep, so difficult terrain. And then you got another 5 foot from the other side of the sludge to the next wall. It's a arched way ceiling going far one way and to the other. And on your side of the sludge, down about 15 feet, is a stack of some worn out crates.
And if a sound is coming from there, I think what he'd do is he'd bend down, pick up the rat carcass, and kind of holding it in his hand. You can see him sort of looking in the direction of the crates, not paying attention to the rat, but his hand glows a little bit, and the rat begins to glow as well. And what I'd like to do is purify food and drink on the rat and sort of toss it over the direction of the crates.
Wait, hold on. Did he purify the food and drink? Did he
If-
successfully do that?
Yeah.
Okay. As soon as he does that, I want to take that chance to just grab that rat and eat it. And I'm gonna say thank you.
Yeah, I think he does that. I'm not paying attention to it, so maybe he like cocks back to throw it, and it just gets pulled out of his hand. I'm fine with that. And I think you just turn and look at him, and it'd be like, all right, well, you know what that means. You got to go check it out.
What?
And he kind of points over at the crate, and he's like, listen. Chirp, chirp. See, there's something over there, and you got to go check it out.
What's around me, like grabbable wise, other than poop?
Nothing really. You've got a bunch of stuff on you. You ate the rat that was grabbable. Let's see. Yeah.
All right, fine. Well, I only ate half of it, but I'm just gonna shrug it off and just start walking and continue nibbling on my new snack. And I'm just gonna get about 5 feet from the crate. You said it was a couple crates.
Yeah.
And I just want to give it a good, like, not a forceful kick, but just a shove kind of kick,
Okay. Upon shoving that, you watch as a large amount of rats come swarming around the hole. As you kicked it and it moves itself further away from the wall, you see that there is a large rat hole. And we're not talking the size of your fist like the one that you're eating. We are talking that these are cat-sized rat holes. And they come out and they're going to make some attacks on you. Then we're going to roll some initiative. In fact, if you want to go ahead and roll an initiative, that's fine too.
Wow, that was nice. 18. Whenever you're ready, obviously.
An unpoisoned rat. Okay. Jerk. How about lastings? 11? And we don't have Gearsock and Cough yet, so that's all right. Here we go. Those attacks are going to be made onto you.
He fainted upon seeing the rats come out.
Quite a bit of them. The first one going to attempt to bite you. Yeah, a whole whopping 13 isn't going to bite you. The next one, a 14 is not going to hit you. That one is a total of 20. So this one bites at you, hits you. You are going to take 6 piercing damage. And the last one is not going to hit you.
Okay.
Here we go. Round 1, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rats. And what we will do with all of these for the purpose of them, because they are grouped around, we're going to take a page out of the Genesis/Star Wars book. And as you guys are attacking these rats, since they're all just kind of swarming around him until they split up, all damage is being dealt to a single one of them, unless you've got something to do to more of them. Just to simplify it.
Okay.
Cool, Jarek.
Yeah. So the one that just bit me, I want to immediately reach down and grab it. So, but I do want to attack it. This is going to essentially be my attack, almost like a punch.
Okay. So if you're wanting to actually grab it, you have to make an attack roll, and then it is an opposed strength versus their dex or strength.
Yeah. So I rolled a 17 plus 4, which is 21.
That'll hit him.
Yeah. And
your attack bonus is not just +4.
What is it?
You have a proficiency bonus you're at 3 now, right now, guys?
Just for a grab?
No, first you have to initiate an attack.
Oh, okay, sorry.
If you hit them, you can...
It's +2. Level 5 is 3.
Right. So your strength modifier is a 4.
Yeah, plus the 2.
So it's a 6 then.
Mhm.
So you'll still hit, but you've got better than a 4.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead and make your strength roll.
19.
Yeah, I rolled a 1. You have
Okay.
picked up his rat.
And bonus action attack or no?
You don't have that option.
Okay. How big is this, by the way? I know you said big, but like.
This is the size of a cat.
Okay, perfect.
It is bigger than your small rat that you'd eaten half of.
Mhm.
Brother Lasting.
I think he would be walking over kind of towards you, be like, "Oh my god, this is gross!" Oh, like picking his legs up real high, trying to like keep his feet in the muck as little as possible. And when he gets next to you, he sits there and he's like, "This is just," and he taps on his shield where his holy symbol sits. And this light sort of swirls around him, and I would need all of the mice that are within 5 feet of me to make a con save.
Okay, first one gets a 15.
Okay, goal is 13.
Okay, 2 save. 3 save. 4 does not. 5 does. 6 does. 7 does. I will never roll another crit. I seriously just rolled 4 20s.
Well, the group took 2 damage.
The one who didn't save took 2?
Mm-hmm. I imagine
Cool.
it still probably goes towards the group.
Right. In that situation, like, so since there's 7 of them, and that attacked all of them, I categorized that.
Sure. Yeah, no, I get it. It's cool.
And we don't have Griffzock or Cough. Guys, because I do have some of your stats, do you want me to roll that for me, or do you want me to skip them?
Up to you.
I think as long as you wouldn't use any like power or anything like leave him all of his resources.
Well, then we'll just go ahead and go to the rats. So right now, you just walked up. You're still behind them. You haven't been able to reach, get all the way up to them. And the one that's still there, who's causing all the trouble right now, is definitely going to get the attack. So Jarek, here they come again. Oh. 14's not going to hit you, Jarek.
And then one of them should be grappled right now.
Right, one of them will be. The second one will not hit you. The third one, however, will hit you and do a whole whopping. Ooh, 6 points of piercing damage.
I apologize.
That's all right. We'll throw you in here in just a second. This one will hit you as well. You're going to take 4 points of piercing damage. This one will hit you as well. You're going to take 7 points of piercing damage. Wait, that's a lie. There we go. 3 points of piercing damage. The next one going to hit you as well. You're going to take 3 points of piercing damage. And this is the one that you have grappled. That means it's not going to go anywhere. It still gets to attack you. And that one is also going to hit you for 4 points of piercing damage. Real quick, Gearsock, roll initiative for me.
Yeah, I've put it in the chat there.
Cool. Go ahead and go. It's your turn.
Okay. Very good. So I would. So how many of these things are there?
There are 7 of them.
All right. And we're talking about just rats, right?
Just rats.
Okay.
And as I said when you were off screen, what we're doing is that because there's so many of them, and they're all cat size. It's not necessarily a swarm, however they are swarming, but because they're so large and moving at all times, we'll just go ahead and apply the damage that you do to each one until you kill them off.
Fair enough. Yeah, rather than trying to keep track of which one we're attacking. Yeah. All right, that sounds great. Fair enough. So yeah, I will just my crossbow. I'll equip it if necessary. I would have gone down there anyway with it. With my action, I will attack.
So you're because of the way that this is set up, the way you have furthest from you are these rats and Jarok, and then Brother Hastings has come up right behind or Brother Lastings, excuse me, has come up right behind Jarok. So right now, you and Cough are in the back. If you'd like to fire at one, Brother Lastings is going to give them some cover. That may not matter to you, but just letting you know.
I can't get to a position where I can see clearly.
Yeah, if you want to move to the other side of the sewage, if you want to move and fire from inside of the sewage, you're fine. Or if you want to just move to the other side outside of the sewage, you're fine.
Yeah, I guess I would move to the other side.
Okay, that'll take 25 feet of movement.
Yeah, that's fine. I can just do that.
Okay.
That's my whole movement. So yeah, then I would get an 18 on the attack roll.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dealing. What's this? Sorry, 1 sec. Dealing +5, so 11 points of magical piercing damage.
And that one dies.
Then, as my bonus action, I will command my Cough to, but I wouldn't call him Cough in this zone. I would just say Ratty, but he would still follow my commands. And I would command him. Well, he would move, and I would command him to take the. Let's see. The defensive pounce maneuver.
That's a reaction, so you don't necessarily have to tell him to do that.
Okay, but I have to say that. So I'm commanding him though. So like, because poses one creature can see provided the attack. Because it requires my bonus action to say to it, "This is your thing to do."
It says it can move and use its reaction on its own, but the only action it takes on its turn is the dodge action unless you take the bonus action on your turn.
Okay, well, it will bite.
Cool. Do you want to take care of that, or do you want me to take care of that?
I can take care of that.
Okay.
Only 14.
That'll hit it.
Okay. And it deals 9.
And it kills another one.
Excellent.
Jarek, you're up.
Cool. So,
You've got this one in your hand still.
yep, that's the plan. I want to reach to grab one of my javelins out of my sack,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
at the same time, I want to just shove the rat onto the javelin that I'm grabbing. If that
Okay.
makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be treated as an improvised weapon. So make a strength roll on the rat. And yeah, make a strength roll on the rat.
17.
Cool. That will work. What is your, let's see, your strength bonus is a 4
Yes.
plus 1. That is 5 damage to the rat. So the rat is currently a part of your spear, but is still nibbling around.
Cool. And can I still retrieve that spear now?
Yes.
Or javelin? Yeah. Cool. And I'm taking that out, and I don't know if I can attack again, but I am preparing to just start stabbing. So.
You won't be able to attack again.
Yeah.
So you guys watch him literally in one motion pierce the rat onto his spear and pull, or the javelin, and pull the javelin back out.
Are you raging at the moment?
I am not, no.
Okay.
I actually meant to, but I forgot. I thought I did that the very first round.
You can right now if you'd like to. You still have your bonus action in your maneuver
Okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead.
or your move action. Cool. You go into rage. Brother Lasting. Oh,
That's all right. I was just sort of saying maybe I don't know enough about your character yet, whether you would just go into rage every single combat or whether you'd be like, no, I'm holding out. I'm fine against these rats or...
Well, I've been bit like 9 or 12 times now, so.
Okay, yeah.
Stop, yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, thanks.
Lastings.
Yeah, I think first he was horrified of all the biting that was occurring on the human or the person in front of him. And it's just like, oh my God. And then he sees what you do with this rat and like sees it from the front row seat from right behind you. And it's like, oh, geez. And he hits the emblem on his shield again. And this translucent white paper comes out and he sticks it to your back and he kind of chuckles. And when he removes his hand, it says, kick me. But he will cast Shield of Faith as a bonus action on you, granting you 2 AC concentration for the next 10 minutes.
And also, so that you know, you are, as you hear him like rage out as he is known to do, and that sand starts to like fall off of his body and his clothing and whip up around him. And because you have familiarity with him, you know that if you stay adjacent to him, you're going to take some damage.
Yeah, and I think that's why he did that. And just for a moment, the kick me sign sort of shimmers and then dissipates like into your body, maybe even one of the marks or something like that, and then explodes out around you, sort of making you instead shimmer. And kind of looking away and reflecting a gag, he kind of puts his hand up again, and everybody needs to make another con save.
All right. Wrong dice.
Is that
Okay.
enemies or all of us?
Just enemies, sorry.
Second one saves. Third one does not. Fourth one's dead. Fifth one saves. Sixth one does not. Seventh one is dead. Cool.
So is that 2 or 3 fails?
That's 2 fails.
All right. They will take a whopping 9 radiant, and I will use my movement to turn around and slowly carefully move away from him as the sand starts whirring around him a little more.
Wow, real nice. Does it do a D10? Or does
What?
it do a D8? Does that spell do a D8 plus?
No, it just does a D6. So I rolled 2D6 since 2 of them failed.
Oh, for each one that fails, you get to roll another D6?
Yeah, it would be for each one that targets, they take, but they only take. That's the total number. There was a 6 and a 3.
Oh, so one takes 6, one.
I mean, I guess technically you could say that they both take 6 if you'd rather do it like that, where I roll 1 damage and they all take it. I guess that makes more sense than rolling damage on each one.
Yeah.
We can just save that for next time. Cool.
So they both, they'll both take 6.
Cool.
I was like, whoa, hell yeah, dude. I want that spell in everything. Cool. So that radiance is like there are 3 of them that are holding on for dear life right now. And with that, what's going to happen is we're going to have, let's see, what's our passive perceptions? He's not going to get it. Lastings, you got a 14. You're going to catch it. Jarok, you're not going to catch it. Giftsock, you're going to catch it. And so will Cough. One of these rats is, it's not bigger, but it seems to have festering wounds on it.
Festering wounds. Okay.
And these rats are going to continue attacking. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them left alive. So we're going to have 4 of them. Now we're going to have 2 of them attack the big one, the big guy, Jarek. We're going to have 1 of them attack you there, Mr. Lastings. And 1 of them is actually going to attack Cough.
So to get to me, he would have to run past Jarek. So, right? So I said I trudged away.
Did you go through the sludge?
No, I just walked back the way I came.
So the trick is that for Cough, so Jarek is in front of you.
Right.
You're right. So, he'll actually make that attempt. Jarek, one of them moves away. You may attempt an attack on it.
14.
14 will hit it.
Okay, so since I have that shish kebabbed one right here, I see that one kind of dart off after him and just immediately lunge down.
Damage?
Oh my god, Meru. I apologize.
The javelin's a D6, I think.
I believe so. 2 plus strength, so 6.
All right. And that one that you attacked is dead. The one with that is skewered is still wriggling and alive, but not doing so well. So the one going after.
If I stab that one, is it now also on the same javelin?
Sure,
okay.
But it's dead.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. The one that attacks Cough gets a total of 20, not a natural 20, but just a total.
Well, yeah.
It will do 5 points of damage, and Cough needs to make a Constitution save.
Okay.
Is Cough immune to disease?
Poison, charmed, exhaustion, not disease. Apparently a machine can be diseased.
Apparently.
Now, 1 second. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Sure. So yeah, he doesn't succeed.
All right. then you are going to take his magical hit points are reduced by 3.
All right.
And can't is maximum, excuse me. And the target cannot regain hit points except by magical means. Well, duh. And will continue to drop by a d6 every 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then the 2 that attack you, Jarek.
If it was it the big one that attacked the Ratty?
Yeah, the diseased one attacked Ratty.
Right. Okay. Okay. I would. Ratty would impose disadvantage on the first one that was attacking against his ally.
All right. Because they have pack tactics, it brings it back down to just a regular attack.
Sure.
And this one is a critical hit. So it'll do 8 points of piercing damage to you, Jarek. Jarek, since you're raging, it's only going to take, you only take half of that, but that's something that you'll keep track of. I'm just going to tell you the full stat there. And it will end its turn there, taking how much damage from your sand?
2.
Taking 2 damage, it dies. And the next one attacks you. It will hit.
We're keeping in mind his plus
Yeah,
2 AC.
because I have 18 AC right now.
Yes, that was an 18.
Okay.
And that'll be a total of 6 points of piercing. And it also dies from taking 2 points of sand damage. And the rat on a stick will also take the 2 points. And it dies. And that brings us up to Gifsock.
Sorry. How many is still up by the looks of it?
There's 2 of them. There's one more giant rat, and then there's the diseased giant rat.
Givsog would definitely attack the diseased one.
Okay.
With his crossbow. For 22 to hit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dealing 12 points to it.
That's exactly what you needed to kill that rat.
All right. Then he would command Ratty to go forward and attack the one that was going after brother. Yeah, so we'll just go after the one remaining, which is a hit, and he gets let's see, 7 points of bite damage.
Exactly what you needed to kill that. And that takes care of all of the rats. From there, excuse me, we end up having last thing that we'll do for you guys real quick is, Jarek, you don't catch it, but Brother Lastings, Cough, and Gearsock, you all do catch this, as there is a small cloaked figure further down the sewage tunnel that you can see at an intersection, and its eyes are glowing, and it immediately starts taking off down down a corridor to the right at the intersection.
How far away was it when we saw it?
It was about 50 feet away.
I cast command and he has to make a save. It is a wisdom save.
Six.
Stay.
Cool. You don't see him anymore. You are certain that it worked. But you watch. In that split second that he's moving away, you say stay.
Yeah, I think.
How long does it last?
Let's see. Just one round. Fuck. I guess I would probably double move to where I believe him to be.
You couldn't double move because you just cast.
Really quickly, when he says
correct.
stay, I want to turn around and, what? Like, proclaim, I don't really know what's going on here.
Yeah, well, you can see Brother Lasting's hand pointed out in the direction, but if you didn't see it, and I can't even see him now, I'm guessing you might not be able to see him either.
But you're just
You
pointing
do
in
have
a
your
general
move.
direction.
You do have your move.
I'm definitely, my hand is outstretched in the direction of this thing, but yeah, I will. I'll go ahead and take my move action.
Okay, so you move forward 30.
So, Jim, I'm gonna have to get going here.
Right.
You've got stats for Ratty, so I guess Gifzog would just command him to go and attack whatever it is that we're attacking, and use defensive pounce as a reaction, and Gifzog won't do any actions while I'm not sitting in the chair.
Right. No problem. No problem. In fact, after this is where we're going to go ahead and stop. So you won't miss what's coming up. You can go ahead and go, brother.
Thank you so much, and thank you for running the game. Awesome. And sorry. I'll catch you in a couple of weeks.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Cool. See you later. So Cough goes running. You hear as you see Brother Lastings put his hand up. Gifsog goes, sick him, ready. And Jarok, what are you doing?
Well, all I saw was him kind of point in a direction and say stay. I don't really know what's going on, but considering there's combat and I'm still in rage mode, I just want to chunk the spear with the two rats to the side and grab another javelin and just throw it in the general direction that he pointed out.
So you did use light earlier, correct, Brother Lastings?
Yes, that would be on what's his name? On his necklace.
Big G.
Big G, yeah.
Right. And light has what range?
30 foot bright, 30 foot dim.
All right. So for those of you who have dark vision, that dim light isn't giving you anything. You can see perfectly all the way to that intersection. So there's nothing down there for you to throw a javelin at. So if all you're doing is standing there throwing a javelin,
so we can see where this thing was, and it just is gone now.
You can't because your passive perception wasn't high enough to catch it. But based off of the information you've got, there was something that's down there.
Okay, well, I still react the same way, but I don't throw the javelin. I just kind of notice there's nothing there, and my rage obviously dies down at this point since I'm no longer in combat. So the sand around me kind of drifts back down, and then I go get the javelin with the two rats on it, put it back on my sack, and just cautiously approach behind Brother Lastings.
Yeah, I think I would have moved over there, and once I don't see what's there anymore, I think I'd kind of turn around and just kind of shrug my shoulders at you and say, yeah, there was a little guy. He had a cloak on, red eyes, I think, maybe. He kind of darted off, looked like he was watching us. Pretty sure I snagged him, but I don't know what happened. I don't know where he's at.
I think it's your turn.
What? Oh,
You're still on initiative.
this is my turn.
Yeah, that was his turn.
Okay.
Yeah. If it were up to me, I'd drop initiative.
Really,
Lastings doesn't look like he's chasing him anymore.
yeah, really
Okay.
quickly, like on perception wise, I know you said Ratty Sikkim. Is that actually following anything, or did it just mindlessly kind of go to the spot?
Cough is aware of the creature.
Okay, so where it went, is it doing anything? Like,
It ran and turned the corner.
okay. Well, if I have time, I guess I'd follow it, but I guess that's his turn. So,
Right, and so it'll go to Cough's turn.
Mhm.
And
If I have, I'd like on my turn the action as he would have caught up to me. I think I'll cast Cure Wounds on him.
okay,
So you
Go ahead
can
and
roll a
roll.
d8 there if you want, Andy.
5.
Add 3 to that, so 8.
Lucky.
all right. From around the corner, you hear the metallic sounds of claws and teeth and gears, and even a scream. Ah! And Jarok.
As soon as I hear the
Intersection.
scream, I want to. How close am I to the scream, or around that corner? I guess if I'm right behind Hasty.
It's 30 feet to the intersection.
30 to the intersection. I mean, I'm gonna go there, and if I'm within range, I want to grab. If not, tell me because I don't really know.
It is 5 feet outside of your range.
Okay.
There is a small person-like figure with a hood and cloak on, and their eyes are glowing, and Cough is attacking it.
Is Cough just kind of like snagging a piece of him and like like a dog kind of ripping at him, or is he biting? Like I don't know.
Biting and tearing, not necessarily trying to grab. He's just following the directions he was given.
Okay.
Go get it.
Okay, I want to. No, okay, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna go for it. I just want to try and intimidate it into basically. I want to give like a strength intimidation, kind of like a roar almost, and I want to see if I can scare the living shit out of it. Basically, am I aware that do they speak English or Common or?
You don't know.
Okay.
All you've heard is it go ah.
Gotcha.
Even though you may be super muscly and using that, how you portray those muscles is what's going to be what makes it scary. So it's still going to be a charisma.
Okay. Let's see.
Could I?
I rolled a 19.
Okay, cool. I was going to argue advantage because the dog was there, but
Dog. Yeah.
What'd you get?
So 18 because -1.
It's not going to work on it.
Oh man.
It rolled the same thing as you, but has a +1.
Cool. Yeah, so I just turned the corner and I don't know, just I'm not gonna roar. That's kind of weird. I just turned the corner and put off as intimidating of a presence as I can, like flexing everything and like gripping my fist. But obviously, it is not affected, and that'll be my turn.
It is its turn. It's going to attack Cough. What is Cough? It takes a swing at Cough and misses horribly. And with its missing, it feels like it did real good. And you watch as those glowing eyes all of a sudden get wider, realizing it made a poor choice. Lastings.
I think he would be kind of wiping stuff off of him, and he'd hear the sound of battle, and he'd sort of huff, shrug his shoulders, and start kind of much faster trying to get through all of this. And I think would probably get up and still standing behind Jarok, He'd sort of look and see what exactly is going on. But the only thing he'll do is he's just going to pull out his mace.
Okay. Koff is going to continue to follow directions. And we'll hit it. Dealing 4 damage to it. And the creature dies. However, what ends up happening is that upon its death, we're going to need Koff and Jarok to make Constitution saves.
17. Actually, no, 19.
Cool. You're going to be fine. But Koff gets it right in the face, and bright light flashes out from this creature upon its death. And all but the dagger it was holding turns to ash as it lights up and burns away completely. Koff for a moment. The mechanical ratty is looking around, confused, not focusing. You can tell it's struggling to see. However, you were able to get your arm up in time to cover your eyes, and you know that this is what has happened in the past, at least from what you've heard, when a Darkling dies. And left standing over the body is where we are going to stop for the night.
Cool.
Cool. Thank you, guys. I hope you've enjoyed that. And when we come back in 2 weeks, we will pick up standing right over this ash pile and dagger.
Very cool.
Okay.
See you later, guys.
Take it easy.